Hi, I'm Katie Sky and welcome to my channel and welcome to the island of Scuttle. This is the build that we did last week, and this week we are going to be on the very edge of the island, and this is the area we're working on. And from the title of this video, you know that we are working on the campsite today. So let's go ahead and get started. And for once, we are not starting with pathing. Today we are actually starting with some waterscaping. Now, I'm not doing a lot of waterscaping in this video. It's a very small amount. Basically 2 little splotches of water on either side of the path, and that's it. We're gonna have a lot more waterscaping in future videos later down the line on this island. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I have some really cool ideas, and I don't know if it's gonna come out like it is in my head, but we're gonna do our best. Anyway, that will be in future videos, so keep an eye out for that. But it's just gonna be a tiny bit of waterscaping today, and then we're gonna move on to the terraforming because the campsite is gonna be on the 2nd level on this island. And we haven't done too much terraforming on this island yet, so that's exciting, I guess. Well, if you like terraforming, that's exciting. I do like terraforming. I like the result of terraforming. I don't always like doing the terraforming because it can be very time consuming. And by can be, I mean it most definitely is. So, and again, even the terraforming in this video, I'm not doing tons of because it's just for the campsite, so it's relatively small, thankfully, because I did not want to spend 5 hours just terraforming. Let me tell you, doing terraforming for that long, not fun. I've done it before and it kind of melts your brain a little bit, especially since the next build that I'm working on for this island is gonna take up a lot of brain power to figure out how I want to do it. I know that the general idea of what I want to do. I'm just not sure how I'm going to be able to execute it. So it should be very interesting. So first I'm just gonna put up this line of terraforming so that I can put the bridge in, and then I did need to put in this bush and this flower because I wasn't gonna be able to access it otherwise, so I did that first, and then we went ahead and put the bridge in, and then we jumped right into the decorating. I did have a couple areas on this side next to Abel's that I wanted to fill out, and then I was just putting lots of natural items, the flowers, the bushes, started putting all of those down. And then, of course, I realized that I messed up on the terraforming because I needed 1 tile of space on either side of the stairs so that I could put in these simple panels. And as I'm watching this, I am realizing you cannot see what that is. It just looks like a black panel. Or at least on my computer it does. It has a design on there, I swear. It has to be because it's nighttime for this build. I did all of this at night, very late at night. So, whoops. All that one is, that design, it's just, it's made to look like little supports that are like holding up the... You can kind of see it, that are holding up the campsite area that I am going to build out right now. When I was playing this, it did not look like that. So it might just be my computer, but you know, basically I'm making the campsite into a tree house or a tree bungalow situation. And now we're just putting down the actual campsite. so that we can start to decorate around it. So, note to self, if you're going to be dealing with very dark custom codes on simple panels, don't decorate at night. It's hard to see. And again, I just want to point out, it did not look like this when I was playing it, when I was building it at the time, but you know, it is what it is. Trust me that it looks really cool. And now we're just moving on to the many trees that I put down in. But since we are going for like a jungle, tropical, pirate feel, you know, it needs a lot of trees. Also, I just love trees. And a lot of this build actually ended up just being what I always kind of view as filler areas. So like trees, bushes, flowers, those kind of things in a lot of it, just because I want it to feel like a very lush jungle. And so you need a lot of those items. A lot of them. There were so many flowers. So many. I also finally decided on the the flowers that I'm going to use on this island. As you can see, I'm doing yellow, red, orange, and a pop of purple. I decided on the pop of purple because I like purple, but when I think of like tropical things, I do think of like bright colors, you know, like reds and yellows and oranges, but you know, there's always also like purple and green and blue. And so I do green and blue kind of a lot, so I decided to do purple this time. And I don't use the purple flowers very often, but they are really pretty. So, you know, not that you care about what color flowers I'm using, but that's the reason that I decided on them, if you do care. So, like I said, we're just gonna start putting some items down and filling out with more natural filler items like bushes and flowers and lots of wheat field. My main objective for the decorating of this area is I just wanted it to look very full and lush and jungle-like. And let's go ahead and ignore the balloon floating across. I'm not gonna pop it, so sorry. I know some people get really mad when there's a balloon that's not popped, but I don't pop them when I'm decorating, okay? I also do not have a slingshot in my pocket, so I couldn't even if I wanted to. Anyway, so I did add some of the fake plants in to help with the fullness and to give a different type of texture. And do you have any fun plans coming up? You know, I know it's summer now, people are going out and doing more things. I mean, personally, I don't like to go out in the summertime because I live in the desert and it is uncomfortably hot here. But I am going tomorrow, literally. I'm going north, up to Northern California for a surprise birthday party for my aunt. So my brother and I are driving up there and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I will get to see a lot of my cousins and obviously my aunt, and I haven't seen most of them in a long time. I haven't seen my aunt and uncle for maybe 9 months to a year, and then the rest of my cousins I haven't seen since a wedding 2 years ago. Wow, it's been a long time. So anyways, my point is I'm excited. It's gonna be fun to hang out with everyone, and I'll be getting into some cooler weather, which I'm very excited for. I also had physical therapy today, which I do every Monday and Thursday right now. But I'm almost done with physical therapy, which is really fun. And I am not in as much pain in my shoulder, which I'm very happy for. they did up a lot of the weights that I'm using today, so I'm very sore because I'm not used to it, obviously. But I should be getting released and discharged from physical therapy in the next couple of weeks, so that's pretty cool. So that's kind of like my little mini life update for you guys. I'm still working on my current work in progress. I'm sorry if you could just hear my dog groaning. She's 5 now, so she seems to think that she's an old lady and needs to groan all the time. But what was I saying? Yes, I'm still working on my current work in progress for my books. So I'm still writing away. This book is just being kind of a pain in my butt, and I'm ready to be done with it, and I still have like half of it to write, but you know, progress is progress. My characters are just being a little bit stubborn and not wanting to tell me what's going through their head right now. Like they're not communicating, and I'm getting a little annoyed with them. And if you're new and you have no idea what I'm talking about, so sorry. I am an author, so I write books for a living. And so I'm just talking about my current works in progress that I'm working on. I know sometimes I just assume everybody knows and remembers that I'm an author, but that's probably not actually the case. So yeah, I'm an author, so I'm writing a book and it's being kind of rude to me. And for this little area I'm in now, I'm actually it's just filler. So it's just to make everything look kind of lush. So I'm just throwing some trees down, some bushes, some flowers, and then I'm gonna put a few items, but not really anything crazy in there. What's really cool is once this build is done, that pretty much completes the full first like quarter-ish of the island. So we're making some pretty good progress right now. I also don't know what I'm going to be building behind this area, so I don't want to fill it out like really intensely and then I have to take part of it down because I need the space to build whatever goes back here. I should probably figure that out, but that's a future problem. And so we're back to this front area where all of my villagers decided they were just gonna make my life as hard as they possibly could. So many of them got in the way, they blocked me in, they were just being very rude to me this night. And I was like, it's nighttime, they normally leave me alone when I decorate at night. That's why I like to decorate at night sometimes. But no, they were all up in my business, like right here. Totally blocking me in, would not move. The both of them, they're so rude. And this isn't even the only time that this happened. And I was just like, what did I do? I'm building this beautiful island for you, and this is the repayment that you give me, is just getting in my way and boxing me in? So rude. I got real salty about that. Like real salty. So as I'm trying to dodge villagers, I'm just filling in this small little area. I'm not really sure why I decided to plant a coconut for that tree instead of putting a fully grown one in. Don't really know where my brain was with that, but you know, it'll grow in eventually. And so we're just really trying to make the side look as full as we can since it butts up right to the beach. And I don't want it to look like sparse compared to the other side, which is definitely not sparse. I'm watching you, Camo Frog. You best be on your best behavior or there's gonna be frog legs served at a restaurant here. I'm telling you, these frogs, they're testing my patience. At least Drift was just chilling by the water and, you know, lifting weights. He wasn't actually in the way, mostly, but he wasn't like sitting and boxing me in. That's so rude. There's always one troublemaker on these islands that tries to box me in when I'm decorating. On Pinecone it was Dora. She did that all the time. Apparently on this island it's Camo Frog. And now we're just doing the very back area behind the terraforming just so that it looks a little bit full when you're kind of in the campsite. I didn't really need to do this, but I wanted to do it. And then I remembered that I forgot to fill some of this area out because I ran out of stuff. And so I went back to kind of fix it. Which, kudos to me for remembering that I didn't finish this and going back and fixing that mistake, because otherwise it wouldn't have happened. Like, I wouldn't remember like when this island was complete. Oh, I need to go fill that random area. And I know you can't see most of it, but for some reason my brain is like, no, we definitely need to fill every little nook and cranny. Which is definitely not true, but now we're back into this area, this back area, to put some of the larger items. And of course there's a villager here in the way. Bill is in the way, and he is not staying on this island. He is not very pirate core, that is for sure. He's not even jungle core, besides the fact that he's like a duck. So again, I didn't want to do too much in this area, although looking at this now, it is kind of a lot, but I wanted it to be very full and luscious. So I'm just using like pine trees, giant vines, and then like some bushes, flowers, and wheat field to kind of make it a little bit more full. And after my altercation with Camo Frog, and then Bill was over here, I was like, am I gonna block you in? Because I might. But then he moved. He knew that he was in the wrong, and he moved so that I could finish putting the last pine tree in. And now we're gonna head back to the far back area to finish filling that little area out with just some giant vines and some other little items with the bushes and the flowers. But again, you're not going to be able to see this, so I didn't really want to spend too much time filling this out because I don't know what's going to go behind this campsite. So it could be something where I need this space for something. I don't think that's going to be the case, so I just did a small little border, but you know, you never know with me and how I decorate. I am constantly changing my mind, as you are aware. And we are done. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know what your favorite part was, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!